Broderick Stephen Harvey was born in 1957 in Welch, West Virginia, a small coal mining town where life was tough and expectations were simple. Most families measured success by steady work and the ability to put food on the table. His father, Jesse Harvey, worked long days as a coal miner, earning only a few dollars a day but carrying immense pride in honest labor. His mother, Eloise, balanced that toughness with warmth, faith, and encouragement. Their home was filled with gospel music, discipline, and love. Yet outside those walls, young Steve often felt invisible. He struggled with a severe stutter that made speaking in class painful and embarrassing. Words that came easily to other children felt like impossible obstacles for him. Because of this, he learned to observe quietly, studying people, their expressions, and their behavior. What seemed like a weakness slowly became a hidden strength that would later shape his unique voice. The Dream, written on a simple piece of paper. One moment from Steve's childhood stayed with him for the rest of his life. In 6th grade, his teacher asked students to write what they wanted to become when they grew up. Many classmates chose practical careers they saw around them: police officers, firefighters, or factory workers. Steve, however, wrote something different. "I want to be on TV." It was a bold dream for a quiet boy with a stutter. Instead of encouragement, his teacher questioned the idea and suggested he choose something more realistic. The moment embarrassed him, but it did not erase the dream. When Steve went home upset, he showed the paper to his father. Jesse Harvey didn't laugh or dismiss it. Instead, he told his son to keep the paper and look at it every day. That small act of belief planted a powerful seed in Steve's mind. Sometimes the people closest to you see possibilities that the world cannot yet imagine. Searching for direction in early adulthood. As Steve grew older, life did not immediately guide him toward television or entertainment. His family moved to Cleveland, Ohio, where he tried different paths while figuring out who he wanted to become. He attended college for a while but struggled to stay focused and eventually left. Like many young adults searching for purpose, he tried a variety of jobs, working on an assembly line, selling insurance, delivering mail, and even selling carpet. None of these roles felt like the right fit. Still, one thing remained constant: his ability to make people laugh. Whether it was co-workers during lunch breaks or friends at local gatherings, Steve had a natural talent for humor and storytelling. Yet at that point, he had never seriously considered comedy as a career. It was simply something he did instinctively. Deep down, the dream of being on television still lived quietly in the background. The moment that changed everything. In his late 20s, a friend encouraged Steve to try stand-up comedy at a local club. The suggestion seemed intimidating because he had never performed professionally before. But curiosity and courage pushed him forward. When he finally stepped on stage at a comedy club in Cleveland, something remarkable happened. The audience laughed, not politely but genuinely. For the first time, Steve felt completely comfortable speaking in front of people. The stutter that once defined him seemed to disappear when he held the microphone. That night opened a door he had never imagined possible. After winning an amateur comedy contest, Steve made a decision that would reshape his entire life. He left his stable job to pursue comedy full-time. It was a risky move, especially because he had family responsibilities. Yet something inside him insisted that this opportunity was too important to ignore. From comedy stages to television screens, success continued to grow when Steve starred in the television sitcom The Steve Harvey Show, which aired during the late 1990s. The show centered around a former musician who becomes a high school teacher, blending humor with relatable life lessons. Alongside talented comedians like Cedric the Entertainer, the series gained a loyal audience. At the same time, Steve joined fellow comedians on the Kings of Comedy Tour, one of the most successful comedy tours ever organized. The tour brought stand-up comedy to large arenas, proving that comedians could fill huge venues just like musicians. For Steve, this era represented the fulfillment of many dreams he once thought impossible. He had moved from small clubs to national television and sold-out shows. Yet, even with that success, he understood that entertainment trends change quickly, and long-term survival required constant growth. Reinventing himself in a changing industry. By the mid-2000s, Steve Harvey realized that he needed to adapt once again. Comedy alone might not sustain his career forever. He began exploring new platforms, including radio. His morning radio show allowed him to speak more personally with listeners, discussing everyday topics like relationships, personal growth, and life challenges. The conversations resonated strongly with audiences. Encouraged by that response, Steve eventually wrote the book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. The book became a major bestseller and introduced him to an even broader audience. Readers appreciated his direct yet thoughtful perspective on relationships and communication. The success of the book opened doors to speaking engagements, television appearances, and eventually film adaptations. Once again, Steve had reinvented himself. This time, not just as a comedian, but as a communicator who could share lessons from his own life experiences. Reviving a classic game show with personality. Another turning point arrived in 2010 when Steve became the host of the long-running game show, Family Feud. At the time, the program had already existed for decades and needed fresh energy. Steve brought his own style to the show, interacting playfully with contestants and reacting to their surprising answers with genuine humor. His expressive facial reactions and spontaneous comments quickly became highlights of each episode. Clips from the show spread widely online, reaching younger audiences who had never watched it before. Under his leadership, the show's ratings soared, and it became one of the most popular programs in syndicated television. Steve had once again proven his ability to evolve. Instead of repeating old formulas, he found a way to transform a familiar format into something entertaining and modern, while staying true to his comedic roots. Lessons learned through life's personal challenges. Despite his professional success, Steve Harvey's personal life also included challenges that taught him important lessons about family and responsibility. Early in his career, the demands of travel and work created distance within his family relationships. Over time, he worked hard to rebuild those bonds and reconnect with his children. One meaningful step in that journey came when he openly acknowledged his mistakes and expressed sincere apologies. Those conversations helped rebuild trust and understanding. Later, Steve married Marjorie Harvey, who brought stability and warmth into his life. Together, they built a blended family that emphasized love, communication, and support. These experiences changed Steve's perspective on success. Achievements on stage or television were meaningful, but personal relationships mattered even more. Learning to balance ambition with family became one of the most important transformations of his life. Sharing a message of courage and faith. In recent years, Steve Harvey has focused increasingly on sharing motivational messages drawn from his own experiences. One of his most widely shared ideas is what he calls the jump. The concept is simple. Sometimes people must take a leap of faith in order to discover their true potential. According to Steve, staying comfortable might feel safe, but it often prevents growth. He frequently explains that when he chose to pursue comedy, he did not know how things would turn out. The path was uncertain, and the rewards did not appear immediately. Yet taking that risk eventually opened doors he never expected. Today, he shares this philosophy through speaking engagements, mentorship programs, and charitable work that supports young people from underserved communities. By telling his story honestly, Steve hopes to inspire others to believe in their dreams and pursue them with courage. The legacy of a man who refused to give up. Today, Steve Harvey is known around the world as a television host, comedian, author, and motivational speaker. Yet his legacy goes far beyond titles or achievements. His story represents resilience, the idea that difficult beginnings do not determine the outcome of a life. From a boy struggling with a speech impediment to a global television personality, Steve's journey shows how determination, faith, and hard work can transform circumstances. He often reminds audiences that success rarely follows a straight path. Instead, it unfolds through mistakes, learning, and perseverance. By continuing to share his experiences openly, Steve encourages others to keep pursuing the dreams they once believed in as children. His message is simple but powerful. No matter where you start, growth is always possible if you remain willing to keep moving forward.